In a world where good materials are scarce, one turd finds a way to forge his epic gear. Turd Tips by Turd Nugent. Welcome, Turdlings of all ages, sizes, colors, and consistencies. Today we are discussing your number one requested topic, the Gear Factory, gear forging, and advanced gear tips and tricks. Our first stop on this adventure is going to be material production. You want to be producing one material each season and trading that material with your alliance for the other materials that you need. In each season, there is one material that takes 3 times as long to produce as the rest. Due to this, 1/3 of your alliance should be producing that material. You can purchase the monthly gear card to produce materials even faster. This gear card says that the production rate is increased by 50%. However, my firm birch takes an hour to produce, or so it says, but when I actually produce it, it takes 30 minutes, which is 100% faster. The reason we only want to produce one material is because we need to level it up. As we level up a material production, the production efficiency increases, making it produce faster. Each level up requires more forges of that material than the previous level. And as we level it up, we can start producing even better quality materials. This spreadsheet will be linked in a document in the description for you, and can be found on the Last Fortress fandom page. The next stop on our journey is the materials exchange. Our first screen that we see will be the exchange hall, and this is where you'll be doing your trades with other players. You can filter by season. We'll take a look at season 0 for now. So you'll see some of your trades in here as well as trades of other players from your alliance. You can only trade with players within your alliance, so your alliance wants to make sure it's working together to produce and exchange materials. If you look through the requested items column for the material that you're looking to sell, when you find it, you can check to the right to see how many of that item you have. And when you've found a trade that you like, let's assume that I'm looking to sell this material and I'm happy with receiving the rope for it. Go ahead and click exchange. This is where you select the amount that you would like to exchange if they are requesting more than one. So you can adjust the amount that you're willing to sell up to the amount they're willing to buy, and click exchange. We're going to skip over the exchange record page for now and go straight to my exchanges. Here is where you see the trades you have posted for your alliance members to trade with. If you do not have the monthly gear card, you can only make 3 trades at a time, and as you go to make a trade, you can only trade 1 material at a time. If you have the monthly gear card, you have access to 3 additional trades, and it doesn't appear to have a limit as to the maximum of a material you're able to trade. If you do not want to be purchasing the gear card every month, one way to work around the limitation of the trade queue and the amount of resources you're able to trade at a time is to buy the gear pass at the end of the season, so about 1 month before your season ends. This will enable you to not have to purchase the gear card at the beginning of the season, just do your production, and then when you're nearing the end of the season, before you enter the next season and start producing a different resource, you can do all your trades and craft all your gear. The last page of the materials exchange is the exchange record. This is where you'll go to see what transactions you have posted in my exchanges and other players have completed. You can collect those resources in this screen. Our last stop in the gear factory is the forge. The forge is where you'll be using your materials to produce gear for your heroes. Each season has 4 sets of gear, with the season being indicated on the right-hand side of the screen. Within the 4 sets of gear, there will be 2 strength and 2 intelligence per season. Each set of gear has 4 pieces of gear, just as your heroes can wear 4 pieces of gear. When you click on a piece of gear, it'll tell you what materials are required to produce it. With the materials, as we saw earlier, there are 4 different qualities. There are also 4 different qualities of gear. The materials of a certain quality will produce gear of that quality or better. As we see when we use all green materials, we have a 50% chance of getting a green gear and a 50% chance of getting a blue gear. As we increase the rarity of the materials that we use, we also increase the likelihood of getting higher tier, better gear. As you craft your gear, the most important thing to pay attention to is your forging points. As we forge, this meter increases, and when that meter reaches its maximum, we are guaranteed an elite gear from our next craft. Every 5 times we fill this meter, we are guaranteed an epic gear from our next craft. Different rarity of materials change the rate at which your forging points increase. Green materials give 0 points. Blue materials give 1 point each. Purple materials give 5 points. And orange materials give 20 points. If you have the gear card, the number of points required to get that elite material is reduced by 20. This means that we can fill our meter in a single craft of epic materials, as opposed to needing 5 materials to fill it. Likewise, it takes 16 purple materials, or 20 without the gear card, 80 blue materials, or 100 without the gear card. And as we saw before, green materials do not fill the meter. Possibly the most important piece of information to know when forging gear is that when your meter is full, you do not need high tier resources to get elite or epic gear. You can use green materials instead. When we learned about material production, we saw the material that takes 3 times longer than all the other materials to produce. This material is specifically used when forging jewelry for each set. Because this material takes so much longer to produce than the other materials, acquiring high-tier materials for your jewelry crafting can be challenging. One thing that you can do to make this process easier is to use a lower tier material when you're crafting jewelry. This is going to reduce your epic chance to 76%, so you could end up with an elite gear from this craft instead of an epic, even though you spent 3 epic materials. But on average, you should end up with 3 epic gear out of 4 crafts, which is the same material cost as if you were using 4 epic materials for 3 crafts. You need to be careful of your forging points as you're crafting with this method, as this combination of materials gives you 65 points. So you'll then want to go do some crafting with some blue materials to finish off those points. Now, before we start spending our materials at the forge, let's go take a look at what gear we actually want for our heroes.